So I've got my Red 13 next to me. He's going to watch with me for good luck. I have no idea what we're about to see. Are you ready, chat? Are you ready? Final Fantasy VII Revelation just had a new trailer, and I have not seen it. I've been working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living, as Dolly would say. Rest in peace. So we're about to watch it for the first time. So I'll see you on the other side. I'm going to crank this up, and we're just going to go for it.
Let's move!
Tifa!
My fellow citizens, we are assailed on every side by the enormous meteor that looms over our heads, and by towering monstrosities termed weapons, like the one that made landfall outside Midgar. But I know that we will rise to every challenge.
Oh, the missile!
And show heaven and earth that it is we who reign supreme.
You said weapons are guardians of the planet, right?
The planet sees us as another threat to her well-being, and rightfully so.
You call them planetary warriors.
Ruby!
But I call them weapons of mass destruction.
Only one thing to do.
Oh my.
Fight.
Alright, Tifa, get it. Oh my gosh! Oh, that's rad. Vincent on a chocobo?
Taking down weapons, hunting materia. Way overdue
Is that
for a day off.
materia?
Once we've got a future to fight for,
Was that the submarine?
will stop us.
Ready? Aim! Fire!
Oh my gosh, the aerial combat! This is awesome.
We'll finish this together.
Chat! Spring 2027. I love that Nintendo Switch 2 is the first one on the little list. Okay, obviously, we are going to have to go through that. That was the fastest 2 minutes I've ever seen. That was awesome. Okay, I have so many things to say about this, but we're going to watch it again. It's so short. It's so jam-packed. You're so right. Okay, let's look at it. Let's look at it again. Let's see it. Okay, I just want to go little bit by little bit here. Okay. So, Cloud, looking stunning as always. Development footage captured on PC, subject to change. That's good to know. So if it looks too good, you know.
Let's move!
That is a rad entrance for Tifa, man. Like, she just looks so freaking cool. I want to see it again. I want to see it again.
Let's move!
God, that's good. Tifa. Can we look at Sid, though? Wow. And Tifa's coming in, too, right there. Is that kind of looks like a, what is that beast? Sahagin? I don't know what that is. Let's take a, you know what we need to do? We need to go super slow on this bad boy. Let's slow it down.
Let's move!
Now it's real slow. Okay, I want to see what that guy is. What do you think that monster is right there? I think it's actually a, you know those things that we fought underneath Midgar, like the specimen? I think that might be one of those guys, like an evolved version of those guys. Do you remember? And the things that were like in the little capsules, a pod person from the reactor. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking that thing is. That's pretty cool if so. Now, what's going on here? Did we just kill all these Shinra troopers here? Vincent? I hope that's not the Midgar 7th Infantry. Genova there. Okay, so this is substantial here. Let's look at freaking Genova here. Look at this. Where do we think this is? We've got Cloud, Tifa, Yuffie, Kate Sith, Barrett, Sid, and Red, but I don't see Vincent. Am I missing him here? Is Vincent not in this Genova fight? Genova looks crazy here. I think it's probably in the crater, but where is Vincent? Genova Death, most likely. The streets are saying it's Genova Death. Okay, I'll buy it. And still no Vincent there, but gosh, that goes so hard. Who's laying there on the ground? What's going on there? Okay, Tifa, one more time we get to see you. What is this, chat? What is this? This ooze? What do we think he is? I have no idea what that is. But that looks like something, or it could just be nothing. Could just be accoutrements. Okay, now this. Let's talk about this. Where's this? It kind of looks like the slums. Sector 5. That's what I thought it was. We haven't really seen the inside of Sector 5 outside of Zach's world, but now they're getting a newscast in the real world. I don't know. Anyway. Maybe they've completely ditched the worlds. Wouldn't that be crazy? It's like, no, that never happened. That never happened. There were no other dogs. It was only the beagle, always. Wouldn't that be funny if they did that? Okay, so Rufus, what do you have to say to us?
Fellow citizens, we are assailed on every side.
Okay, I know it's a tedious thing to watch this in 0.5, but let's look at this bad boy. This is Mediel, right? This is Mediel. And the Highwind looks so good. Gosh, it looks good. I can't wait to explore this area. And over here, right over here, we've got some old ruins or fortress sort of stuff. Some fortification there. That's pretty cool. All right, let's keep going. We are assailed on every side.
Enormous meteor that looms over our heads.
Here's something that, like, okay, maybe I'm just being silly here, and I'm hoping that Revelation kind of explains this. Chat, when is meteor summoned? Now, I know that I'm the Final Fantasy professor, and I should know this. I know when it's summoned in the OG. Right? But it's when Cloud falls into the life stream. And then when you wake up in Junon, you look out the window and Meteor has been summoned because Sephiroth has the black materia. But here's the thing. Aerith at the end of Rebirth, if you remember right, she says, don't worry, I'll stop the meteor. I'll stop the meteor. And that just gets, and I know that it could be Genovaroth, right? It could be Genovareth. But isn't it weird that she says, don't worry, I'll stop the meteor before it's summoned? Aerith's back in the live stream. She can see it all coming again. So does that mean that she's just communicating to Cloud like, hey, I'll stop the meteor and this is what's kind of happening here?
And by towering monstrosities turned weapons like the...
Okay, this scene is fire right here. They are escaping in the Highwind as the weapons are emerging. Maybe she didn't mean before it's summoned, but before it hits. Had they really talked about the meteor at that point, right? Like, I don't know. It's just very strange. Like, I know the original story, but it's just an odd thing to throw in there at the end. But it is foreshadowing. Anyway, so this is the moment that the weapons emerge from the planet, which coincides, I suppose, if we follow the OG, the handing off of the black materia to Sephiroth. That whole sequence is just going to be so exciting, but this is vivid imagery. Look at this with the live stream shooting out here. And I mean, this is the planet's wake-up call. This is pulling the fire alarm in the building of the planet, and it's just shooting out everywhere, and the weapons are coming, and it's pandemonium. I'm so excited for that. The aerial combat here. I'm hoping that some of the aerial combat is playable. Cool mechanic.
We will rise to every challenge and show heaven and earth that it is we who reign supreme.
I remember watching a video a couple of weeks ago that focused on the weapons. And this weapon is kind of attacking Mediel. And this person hypothesized that there could be a moment when the weapon that swallowed Tifa may come to her aid or their aid as a party at some point. I'm really curious about that. Will there be a weapon that is sympathetic to the heroes? That would be a really interesting thing, just because of that proximity to Tifa. Who knows?
Show heaven and earth that it is we who reign supreme.
Isn't that interesting? Especially after we talked about Tower of Babel and humanity trying to reach the heavens through the power of technology, right? God, there's so many different cool lenses. Don't worry, I'll stop the meteor. It almost is as jarring as seeing Kate Sith being sad over the pillar falling. Now, it doesn't take you out of it. It's not meaningless, and it's certainly great foreshadowing, but it is like, I guess we are going to really be worried about that right now. The ancient voices reference the meteor as the consequence of the black materia in the rebirth sequence, so they can assume it's part of Sephiroth's plan. One of the interesting things, we talk about this with apocalyptic literature, right? And that's what we're doing as we prepare for Revelation. Remember, it's always, when you read apocalyptic literature, there's one rule. That rule is that it pertains to the now and to the not yet. And how interesting it is that in the Shinra Museum, the history says that a meteor came and wiped out humanity. Do you remember that? And then you go into this extra sequence of this new meteor coming and destroying modern day Midgar. So it is kind of the now, the current state of things, the meteor that took out the Cetra back in the day, and we know that's Genova as well. But this first calamity and then the coming calamity. And it's very similar in the Temple of the Ancients and Rebirth as well, when they are telling their former story and they are also foreshadowing of a greater calamity that is foreshadowed by their previous one. Okay, my boy, can we just take a moment and appreciate Sid Highwind, all the love for freaking Sid Highwind. I really feel like I can pull off his thing, especially with this level of hair. I feel like I can really pull off the Sid Highwind. I've got his costume in my closet. I really need to cosplay him. Maybe I'll wear him to PAX West. Hang out with Hamaguchi. Be like, what's up, dude? Front row. Locked in for the panel. Look at that Wu-Tai background. I love the diversity of the locales that we're getting here. What is she doing there? Do you think this is a training montage for Yuffie? That's what it kind of looks like. It kind of looks like she's going into things. That doesn't look like her traditional fight stance. You know who I want to see more of in Revelation? I want to see more Zangan. I want to see him. And what I would love is for there to be a training montage between Zangan and Tifa and maybe even Yuffie. I really feel like this is a way that Yuffie and Tifa could connect by being dually trained by Zangan. How cool would that be? You know, Yuffie is such a spitfire and she's got such a spirit about her that's like, I am not listening to anybody. I'm doing my own thing. I remember Cosmo Canyon when everyone is praying at the candle and the lighting ceremony. And what does Yuffie say? She's like, I don't really get all this stuff. When you die, that's it. I don't believe in all of this return to the live stream stuff. All that kind of nonsense. So she's got a very distant view of things. It's very functional philosophy. Everything is, in my line of work, philosophy is all about making meaning of the world around you. And sometimes you do that through religion and spirituality. Sometimes you do that through ethical behavior and through life mantras. And for Yuffie, her rule of life is functionality over everything else, right? You live and you die and that's it. And so I've got to get better. I've got to get stronger, because if I have the most materia and if I have the most power, then my enemies will be crushed. I've got to do this on behalf of Wu-Tai. I've got to do this on behalf of the planet now. Like, it is up to the strength and the ability within me to do that sort of thing. That's kind of Yuffie's mantra. And to be softened by Tifa, to say, okay, it's not just how strong you are, but it's what you're believing in. It's not, I'm good, they're bad, let me beat them. Instead, Tifa can soften Yuffie, but I really think that Zangan, right, who is this great warrior who even trains Tifa, could invest in Yuffie. That's something that I would, like, I don't know if that sort of thing would happen, but I think it could be really cool. I think that there is a very, very strong chance that we will be seeing Sonon, especially if Yuffie and Vincent go after Deep Ground. And that would be very sobering for Yuffie. I was on Landy Lodge's stream yesterday, just kind of hanging out and talking, interviewing stuff. And we kind of stumbled into a conversation of how much do you think Dirge of Cerberus is going to play into this? And while I don't believe that the remake series is going to lead into Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus, I think instead elements of Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus are going to emerge in this 3-game retelling of the story of all of Final Fantasy VII. And so I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we saw Yuffie and Vincent go off to face Deep Ground, and maybe even Vincent turns into Chaos to fight against Omega. And I'm curious if that might be where Vincent is while the rest of the party is fighting Genova. I think it would be really interesting to have a 3-layered battle by the end of Revelation, where you've got Cloud and the primary party fighting against Sephiroth in whatever form he appears. Then you've got Aerith and Zack, perhaps, in the live stream fighting Genova. I think that would be incredible. I need Aerith to fight Genova. How cool would it be if Aerith was able to fully vanquish the entity that took out her ancestry, took out her race. Wouldn't that be amazing? I find it to be somewhat unfinished business if Jenova and Aerith do not have a face-to-face. So, if you've got Cloud in the party facing Sephiroth traditionally, and then ultimately Cloud v Sephiroth 1v1, then you've got Aerith and perhaps Zack facing off against Jenova for the sake of the Cetra. And if it comes to fruition that somehow the voices of the planet, the cries of the planet, are the remnants of the Cetra that are trying to guide the planet into safety, maybe even the Whispers. How interesting is it that at the end of Rebirth, all of the Cetra are depicted as those in these robes. And how interesting is it that Sephiroth has kind of co-opted that and turned his acolytes into these dark-robed figures. And then you've got these Whispers that seem to be robed. And some of them are white Whispers and some of them are dark Whispers. And I really think that there could be some Cetra and corruption of the Cetra through Jenova, Sephiroth meddling or whatever. How interesting would it be if Aerith, Zack, and the Whispers are fighting against Jenova, the source of all delusion, right? Would the Cetra have to fight the Gi as well? Could be. Don't know. I actually have no clue or theories or ideas about how the Gi fits into anything. So I know that I'm wrong about everything because I can't reason with the idea of the Gi. I've heard a few interesting ideas and I'm like, it could happen. But I have no idea. I don't even know where to begin with the Gi. But then on a third plane, so we've got Cloud in the party, we've got Aerith and Zack versus Jenova. And then what if we had Dirge of Cerberus, Vincent Chaos facing off against Omega, right? Like at the end of Dirge of Cerberus. I also have this crazy idea that Geostigma is going to be enacted prematurely. And I know that people clutch their pearls and they're like, that's not the way Geostigma works. They are bringing in elements from all of the things and putting them out of order. The synchronicity of timeline does not match up with the original telling of those 8 pieces of the compilation. It just doesn't. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to put it all into a 3, maybe 4 game series of Remake, Rebirth, Revelation, and maybe if you're good, Reunion with Crisis Core. So a 4-game max sort of thing, I would say. But I really do think that's a possibility that they're doing. Anyway, all this to say, I think that Geostigma is going to be a thing that they're dealing with. And I think that's why Glenova or Glenoroth is convincing Rufus of warfare, because despair breeds weakness to Jenova and to Geostigma. And so if there's a worldwide war, a meteor in the sky, a planetary crisis, weapons, that sort of thing, if that's the sort of thing that's happening, you can imagine the entire world has been driven to despair. And so what is going to happen there? My curiosity is, will they become susceptible to Genova's influence? Will they become susceptible to a type of Geostigma that is even premature? Right? Maybe instead of the after effects of the meteor, it's the effects of the meteor being in the sky. Who knows? I think that they are going to subvert our expectations of what happens in Advent Children, because I don't believe that it's going to lead to Advent Children anymore. Based on the most recent interview that I read from Hamaguchi, I just believe that elements of Advent Children are going to be inserted into this telling. And it may end with like an ending like Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus. I don't know. And again, I could be wrong. Who knows? It is difficult to be right, and it is okay to be wrong. Because that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. I don't even know what that robot monster was. What was that? Where do we think he is? Is that the Northern Crater? That feels like some Dirge of Cerberus stuff. That's real dark. Right there. We are in some kind of cave, and Sid's there, and Tifa's there, and there's blue crystals back there. And there, what are these things back here? What are these things? Are these black whispers? Are these black whispers with purple faces? Enhance. Oh, that's a whisper. There's a whisper. Are you serious? That's a whisper. That is a black whisper right back there. Did you see that, chat? Those are freaking whispers. Those are black whispers right there. Okay, we got to go back. We got to see it again. See it again. Okay, we got to go slower than this. This is too dang fast. Holy smokes, that was so good. Okay. 25 speed. So slow. Those are black whispers in the background right there. Yeah, that's very much them. Chat. That is That's the freaking, those are the Black Whispers, baby. Those are the Black Whispers. Game of the year, because I love the Whispers. You know I love the Whispers, and I'm so glad that they're back. Okay, let's keep going. Freaking love! Freaking love! The Black, where do we think that is though, chat? Where do we think that is? The screaming is crazy. Where do we think that is? It could be the crater. It could be the northern crater. It could be. But I kind of almost think that this could be a Lucrezia situation. I think it could be a Dirge of Cerberus. Look how framed Vincent is here, right? Look how framed Vincent is here. He is very seldom center frame. So it lets me know that maybe something's happening with Vincent right there, right? Because we've got to get his whole story in one game here, assuming there's not like Vincent specific DLC, which there could be. But I think that's pretty interesting. Love that. God, these characters just look so good. Now, I mean, he's just like aura farming every time he's on screen. Okay. Black Whispers, that's cool. I like that. Okay, I'm reading the chat. I kind of like Lucrezia's cave. Smith, that's a pretty good idea. Could it be the area beneath Benora? Straight from Crisis Core. I'm sorry, that noise is so bad. I'm going to mute it so y'all aren't enduring that. So this kind of does look like that area from Crisis Core, right? One of the final dungeons. That would be incredibly cool. And maybe this is a Genesis moment. Do we think that Genesis might show up? They have to go to Benora and they have to go and explore. That could be really interesting. What a teaser. What a freaking teaser right here. Love the little blue crystals. Love those. That's neat. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to go back to 0.5 speed just for kicks. Okay, let's keep going now. Turn up the volume. Okay, do we have any concept of what this guy is? Is he in the underwater reactor or the Gelnica? Maybe he's in the Gelnica. No, I actually think he's in the underwater reactor before you get the submarine. That's the boss there. I hated that boss. That's who that is. I don't remember what he's called. But Amy linked it above. It's the underwater reactor. Hang on, I'm going to check it out. So this is him and this is him, right? So this is what we're looking at here. Bam. We do hate that guy. He sucked. But he is weak to lightning. I remember that. Yeesh. Ooh, Smith, that's a really interesting idea. It would be a fun retcon if Lucrezia's cave was the space beneath Benora and Minerva's form is based on Lucrezia. Oh my gosh. That's rad. I like that. Carry armor. That's its name. Thank you, Intuitive Realization. Thank you. That was so good. Yes. Carry armor. Yeah, cybernetic. I'm seeing that from all of you now. Sorry. There could be some heart-wrenching moments. Okay, let's continue with the trailer. Talk about aura. Can we just, take a moment? We're having to go back to something. We're never getting through this trailer. What aura? I mean, look at this. Just that's our cloud right there. That's our boy. Oh, and the weapon just shooting up from the earth.
You said weapon.
You said weapons are guardians of the planet, right? Sick.
Planet sees us as another threat to her.
The planet sees us as another threat to her well-being. What a great question. That's kind of the question that we were left with at the end of Final Fantasy VII. Is the planet better off without humanity because of all of the things that humanity has done to it? And what a great existential question that we all kind of have, right? Is humanity an experiment that is worth continuing after all of the bad stuff that's kind of happened, right? Man. So here they're kind of chasing down the weapon.
Rightfully
so. Now, this is what I'm incredibly excited about, looking at the specific weapons. I know this is definitely for the others, not the OG fans, the crazy detail people like us. But, God, Ruby looks so good. And it pops up right there in Corel, right in front of the gold saucer. I love that we're going to visit these places that we already have been to and love. They fly now? They fly now. Yeah. This is so good. Gosh, he looks so good. Look at that face. I mean, that takes straight from Final Fantasy XVI Titan right there. Big fat tacos. Thank you. That's emerald weapon with the huge materia embedded in its belly is crazy. That is so good.
Mass destruction.
Weapons of mass destruction. We're going to go on a hunt for weapons of mass destruction. I wonder if we'll find them this time. Real ones, no. Ultima weapon. Look at that. Oh my gosh. The lightning in the sky. It's just, and then he shoots. Oh my gosh. Chat, this is so good. Okay, we are blasting, again, what looks like Medill. And then we got this little dragon boy out here in maybe Cosmo Canyon? Maybe with a valley of blood? A lake of blood? Press copies of those weapons posters. Oh man, Square Enix, sell them. Come on, put them in Hot Topic. Oh yeah, that's definitely Cosmo Canyon, but there's also a fountain filled with blood over there. You can tell it's Cosmo Canyon because of the super annoying little chocobo glider things. But now we're fighting, what is he? What's the guy's name? He's in Final Fantasy 16. Jabberwocky. Maybe that's it. I thought it started with a B, but Bandersnatch or Jabberwocky. Jabberwock, thank you. Yeah, I see those chocobo. Yeah, it's PTSD for sure. They're saving Diamond. Yeah. Diamond weapon is going to be. Yeah, I've got issues because of insomnia. Such a pitiable waste, Arden. I'm excited to re-explore all of these areas. One of the things that I love that they're doing with this, and I think it's so smart, is when you get the Highwind, obviously it's going to be after the meteor is summoned, and it's going to be after the northern crater, right? And so I think that it's super interesting that they are renegotiating, remanipulating all of the locales so that it doesn't feel the same as it did in Rebirth. Rebirth was a free-for-all, like, vacation through the world. This is, we are going to these places where we had a pretty good time and they feel different, right? Okay, let's go. You see Diamond weapon at the start climbing? Yeah, I think that may be true. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, that looks cool. Do we think that that was a timing thing right there for Tifa? An active time sort of thing? Yeah, see that where it kind of went square right there? I wonder. The green live stream dyed red is unsettling. We think that's green live stream turned red? Blood? Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Tifa. God, that looks good. Now, the summoning of this guy, who knows who this guy is in Final Fantasy VI and 14 for that matter. Does anybody remember who he is? Anybody remember? You remember who he is, right? You remember? Typhon! That's right. His name is Typhon. Friend of Ultros. Y'all, if Ultros shows up, what are we going to do as a people, as a species? How are we going to respond if Ultros freaking shows up? I personally am here for it. I think Ultros should be in everything. He was in Final Fantasy 15, Kingsglaive. Why not put him in 7? If this is a celebration of all things Final Fantasy, which it kind of feels like it is sometimes, why not? Typhon, what an interesting summon. What an interesting summon. We talked a lot about Typhon back in our Final Fantasy 16 lecture series. Also, I freaking hate Typhon. Let me just say, like, I hate that design for Final Fantasy VI. Disgusting. But Typhon is kind of cool mythologically. Now, the Twister is cool. Hang on, what was up there in the air? Did y'all see that? Oh, that was just the glider. I thought that was the Highwind. Wait, it was! That was the Highwind in the air. Did you see that? Right up there. Do you see it? It's right there. The Highwind is in the air. What do we make of that? Is the Highwind always just kind of hovering over the land that you're in? That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Kind of makes the fast travel back up to the airship more logical, I guess. Because they said they're not going to like make you just climb back up or whatever, but you parachute down. And I guess it makes sense that you just see it up there in the air. Hopefully the Midgar 7th Infantry is going to be up there piloting for you. Gosh, I hope it's them. That's it. Okay, now we got some skydiving. Barrett trying to get his pack open with the meteor behind him. Okay, now this is fun. Look at this fun little landing pad down here. Wonder what that's about. You can tell Chadley is like, Cloud, you missed your landing spot. Try again. What if he's like, Cloud, I need you to explore unknown regions. Land on the landing spots that we have activated across the globe. Be sure to hit them all. There are 777 landing spots. I've noticed that your world excavation has slowed as of late. Cloud, you're near one of those launch pads. Man, you know it's going to happen. You know that's going to happen, chat. You know it is. And I'm going to love every single second of it. I'm going to do all 777 of them. I'm going to do them all. What do you think this is right here? What's this little guy? Is that an enemy or is that a bench? I love Chadley. No one will ever make me hate him. Yeah, what is that little guy? Kind of looks like a little shack. Oh, and look at this. Is this Medeal again? Is Medeal just gigantic? Is it massive? Oh, it's a grill. Please, God, let there be a grilling minigame. I hope it's like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild where you go to a little pot and it's like, do-do-do-do-do, doont. Every time I cook with a skillet, I hum that. You know what I'm talking about, right, chat? When Link goes, do-do-do-do-do-do, dun, 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? I've played a lot of Breath of the Wild. Okay. Sid and Vincent both on chocobos. This is the first time that we've seen them on chocobos. That's exciting. That's exciting. Catafree, yes, I agree as well. I need Magnus materia for my next evolution. Also, you didn't stick the landing. It must not be important to you. I see that your world intel has slowed as of late. Is everything okay, Cloud? Look at that gigantic tree. People like MJ Gallagher are going to say, oh, that's Yggdrasil. I just want to explore all this. Okay, Wutai, baby, we back. Now, we've already kind of seen this area, but there's a few things that we can see here. First of all, Yuffie and Vincent together again. But then you look up here. Oh, we just missed it. Dadgummit. Maybe we'll see it in a second. No, we got to go backwards. You got to see this, chat. Watch this. Watch this. Dadgummit. Again. Yeah, there's that. I missed it again. I got to go slower. Watch this. Okay. Do you see right up here? Does that look like a face to you? That kind of like looks like lips and a nose. That may be a face. It may not be a face. I may be making something of nothing, but that's what we do on this channel, right? We make something of nothing because it's about the meaning that you make of it. Anyway, we know that that's, oh my gosh. So ignoring the potential face or not face up there. Over here, we've got Happy Turtle, and we've got the fish imagery over here. Man, I'm so excited for all of that. I just love Wutai. Hey, boys. Bro, do we think these three, part of the myth, is that who they are? Man, I hope. Okay, this is an interesting scene.
Period. Way on
That's an interesting scene because notice who is missing, friends. There's no Cloud and there's no Tifa. We know that a significant part of this game, as it will follow the OG, it is not going to be pleasant to have no Cloud and Tifa for a while. This is where Sid is allegedly leading the party if it follows the OG. But notice they've got two Magnus materia here. Huge materia. Got the yellow, you got the green, so we still need the red and I guess the blue, right? Man, this is gonna be sick.
Materia. Way overdue for a day off.
Way overdue for a day off. This is in the pagoda. Okay, well, this is the underwater submarine part. Okay. That truly is huge material. It's way bigger than I remember. I mean, this is good. I love that. I mean, everything in this game is bigger. Everything is bigger and better than it was, right? This is so good. Okay, so now we're underwater. I want to see the submarine gameplay. I got to be honest with you, chat. The submarine in the OG, not my favorite part. The controls are whack. I mean, especially that mini game where you're like shooting down the other submarines. Whack. But a golden saucer mini game, so. Ow.
Once we've got a future to fight, nothing will stop us.
Once we've got a future to fight for, nothing will stop us. We're going to have to watch the whole thing in just a minute so I can get all the dialogue here. We got the Lady Luck there. Ready? I love freaking seeing the inside of the Highwind cockpit, right? This is so cool. Also no Cloud there, so they are searching for Cloud. They're blasting the Medeal weapon, and then I suppose Tifa's going to parachute out and try to reason with it or something. Now, this is what I hope for. I hope that there is going to be aerial combat in this game. Don't ask me why. Well, it doesn't need it, but wouldn't that be neat if, like, you're also having to fight things in the air? Like, what if you're fighting other Shinra sort of helicopters? I don't know. It'd be so interesting, right? I think that there's some cool things they could do in the airship. I wouldn't be surprised if we began to get airship quests that demanded that you get across the world. Maybe it's delivery sort of things. Maybe it's protecting things in the skies. Who knows? I would be surprised if we did not have some level of Highwind specific questing. Because we've done the like on the ground questing, right? But what about above and certainly underwater? Okay, let's keep going. Shooting, ow. Now I'm hoping that they don't damage the Highwind. and we have to do something with that. That would suck. Do you think we only fight Emerald in the sub, not an actual fight? Well, what a strange idea. Because like in the original, you had to have like the underwater materia to get beyond the, was it the 20-minute timer? Or just even the ability to breathe? I can't remember. It's been a minute. But I think that that's rad if so. I wouldn't hate a submarine underwater battle, or at least the start of the battle, and then raise it up and then fight him traditionally. I am curious, how do you do a kaiju battle with very tiny people? You have Vincent transformations. That could kind of work, especially if he goes Omega form, and then, or excuse me, Chaos form. And then you've got the weapon that befriended Tifa. So it almost makes me wonder if it would be something like that. 30-minute timer, underwater materia, got rid of the timer. That's what it was. I remember. Yeah. Need the jet powered upgrade. Yeah, that'll be something interesting as well. Maybe they use the Bizarro Sephiroth fight in Rebirth as a template. That'd be interesting. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Also, Sid, you're looking great. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool right there. And I don't think there's any other pieces to it. Okay. So now that we have meticulously gone through, I want to watch it one final time at normal speed, everybody. Because that was kind of grating on the ears. So now we're going to watch it. There's a press release from earlier today that says the weapons will be optional super bosses in the post game like the original, but I believe they will also be integrated into the story. That's great. I love that. I think that's a terrific way to do it. I love a good post game. Yeah. Okay, let's watch. From the top. One last time.
Let's move! Fellow citizens, we are assailed on every side by the enormous meteor that looms over our heads and by towering monstrosities.
I want to see those two scenes with Sephiroth.
Over.
Those are in the Northern Crater. Those are the delusions. Those are the delusions. I missed that the first time, right? That's delusions and meeting Sephiroth and when Cloud has his break. That's what this is. That's absolutely what that is.
Overall.
Both of those. And they did it so fast. God, I've got to do it again. I got to go slow again. We're never getting through the temple. Dadgummit. Okay. Back it up. Back it up. Ooh. Yeah. He's talking to Cloud right there in the memory of Nibelheim. It's the Nibelheim in the crater. And there it is again. And look at that smirk and the little cat eyes. He's just enjoying this. Okay, now, I just wanted to be clear on that. We're trying to be thorough.
And we will rise to every challenge and show heaven and earth that it is we who reign supreme.
You said weapons are guardian.
Planet sees us as another threat to her well-being, and rightfully so.
You call them planetary warriors, but I call them weapons of mass destruction.
Only one thing to do. We fight.
Gosh, I love it.
Taking down weapons, hunting materia. Way overdue for a day off.
Huh.
Once we've got a future to fight for, nothing will stop us.
What? Chat, you know what that is, right? You know what that is. That's when Cloud gathers everybody. He's fully himself again, and he looks at them. It's like the final week before Meteor falls. And he looks at the party and he says to them, go and find your reason to fight. That's what he's doing right there. He says, go and find your reason to fight. Because once we have a future to fight for, nothing will stop us. That's what that's from right there. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. And that's what I've been excited about, right? Those are going to be the side stories because unlike the original, here I truly believe we're going to get to see the future that every one of these characters is fighting for. That's probably when we're gonna get to see the Lucrezia stuff. That's probably when we're gonna get to see some of the Yuffie Wutai specific things, maybe dealing with loss of Sonon and stuff like that. That's where we're going to see Barrett with Marlene again. We're gonna see a deeper level of these characters in that moment. And I genuinely think it's going to wreck us in the best way, Chad. Yeah. When he sends everyone out to find their reasons, that's what it is. Once we have a future to fight for, nothing can stop us.
Ready? Aim!
We'll finish this together.
Well done, Square Enix. Well freaking done on that trailer. Chat, I have so many grandiose thoughts for us, but let's get the party rocking again. So let me go backwards. Sorry. It is rare, chat, that Square Enix has restraint in their trailers. I have not looked at the internet this week or today after the trailer dropped. I just got offline because I knew it would be spoiled for me. But I imagine that people are pretty mid on this trailer. And the reason that they would be mid is not because it's not great. It is great. But because it doesn't reveal too much. And as a community, we love morsels of theory and story and stuff that we can just really get into, right? This trailer does not do that, and well freaking done. They are holding their hand, and you know what that shows me? Do you know what that shows me? People only play coy and offer subtle breadcrumbs when they know they're cooking. They aren't in the selling mode anymore, I don't believe. They know what they have is quality. And what they're doing here is they're simply saying, judge for yourself. But yeah, you've got some great stuff coming. It feels like Square Enix believes in what they are doing with this game, and the developers are unabashedly sharing things, but not too much, because they want you to play it. They don't want to spoil it. You feel like it's a trailer that exactly meets expectations. It's a hype reel meant to keep people excited. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, it's a hype reel meant to keep people excited. We saw the weapons, we saw some gameplay things, we saw the submarine. You're getting just enough, and that's it. You're going to get closure to the story. I think Evan Whiskers in the chat may have said this on one of our conversations. He said, I'm not worried about the story. They're going to tell the story that they want to tell. He said it's the gameplay stuff that it may not vibe for everybody. And that was literally the day before they showed the Highwind going worldwide. Yeah. We should still be wary of the final trailer. I'm not going to watch it again because the last two titles showed way too much. Ain't that the truth? Yeah. Also, let me just say, they are showing extraordinary restraint with Aerith. There is no trace of Aerith anywhere in these trailers, except for in that first one when you had Cloud talking to the flowers. But it was more in memory of, right? So they're doing a really interesting thing here. They're not spoiling it. Well freaking done, Square Enix. Yeah, I just need pre-orders to go live. Yeah. Smith, what a statement. My brother said, this will be the game that sells the trilogy, and I 100% agree with that. This is the one that's going to sell the trilogy, and it's going to make this game or break this game. And I think it's going to make it. I think it's going to put this game series, the remake series, into the greatest of all time sort of category. And people will debate the journey and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, they're going to remember that it was incredible. It was amazing. I don't know, man. This trailer gets me hyped. Whole thing gets me hyped. I'm so excited for it. And we don't have to wait too long because PAX West is coming, and we know there's like an hour-long panel that the developers are doing.